Well, everyone, the Samsung Galaxy S20 is a phone that came out a few years ago, back in 2020, and I generally do think it's a very, very good phone that Samsung made back, over 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now. I do think it's a very good phone. I think it still has some power inside of it. I would say, if you have the option of going up to the Galaxy S21 or S22, which is definitely better phones, but I think this one is a very solid option too for how cheap this phone is. But like I said, there's one reason why I wouldn't recommend buying this phone anymore, which I'll get into in a second. First of all, the exterior and the body still looks beautiful. 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display on the front, 120Hz panel, hole punch display, curved display too. This is easily one of my favorite displays that Samsung ever put in this type of device, and I still think it looks and holds up so well. It's definitely not perfect, but I definitely do think it's very close to perfect that Samsung's ever gotten. I love having a curved display. The fact that this thing had this curved display on this device was super cool. It was one of the last curved displays they left on their 6.2-inch, 6.1-inch devices, so I do kind of miss it. USB-C at the bottom, micro SD card slot as well. This was one of the last Samsung phones to have that too for their S series devices. That's another big asset for this phone. Standard glass back on the back, which I think looks very good. Having these type of glass backs is awesome, and I love having that type of capability here. And you're getting wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, triple camera setup. Very good, phone for the most part. Now, I've hit on the camera so many times, I still think the camera is actually pretty decent. You're getting 8K capability, which was really cool. And having that telephoto lens and ultra-wide sensor, was really cool. And a lot of phones at this time already had triple camera setups, but I was really happy that Apple and, Samsung and Google Pixels were kind of, keeping all those lenses. Well, Google was kind of late to it, but the fact that Samsung had it, I was really happy about it. So that's another really big asset for this type of phone. Now, the big thing and the big reason why this phone is 50-50 in terms of, me recommending it to people is the software updates. The problem with the software updates is that, right now it is on, the latest kind of version of Android on Android 13, but it is not getting Android 14. Samsung's already just kind of came out and kind of said that. So that is kind of the problem that we're having right now, is that if you buy this phone, it's not going to be unsupported, it's still going to be kind of getting security updates here and there, but it's not going to be on the latest and greatest version of software, for, the next couple of years. And although you're still getting security updates, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be getting all the cool features and updates that the other phones are going to be getting. So that would be one reason why I would not recommend buying this phone for the most part. And again, if you're wanting, the latest and greatest, you might want to go for a device that is still kind of supported with software. Phones like the Galaxy S21 or S22, especially the S23, those are definitely going to be giving you a better experience overall than the Galaxy S21. Or the S20 and the S21. So that's kind of one of the things to keep in mind here. Beyond that though, I think the performance of this phone is still very, very good. You're still getting that Snapdragon 865 chipset, which is still very decent. You're also getting, the 8GB of RAM in this phone too. So there's still a lot of capability and still a lot of power within this phone as well, which I think is really awesome. It's not perfect, but I really do think that, Samsung did a really good job with this phone at that time. So to kind of round it out, I think the Galaxy S20 is still, a good phone. I don't know if it'd be the first one I'd recommend, but it's a very good device for the most part, and I still think it has a lot of power. It's not perfect, like I mentioned. There's still lots of, quirks and weird things that this phone kind of had at the time. But I think if you are wanting a good device, this thing is a solid option, and you can't really go wrong with it. It has a lot of power, has a lot of capability, and, I would recommend buying it still. But if you plan on keeping a phone for a couple of years, this is probably not the one I'd recommend. So that pretty much covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.